What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. We're just a few weeks away from the launch of the Nintendo Switch, and the hype is already off the charts. This thing is going to have more graphical power, new features, and perhaps, coolest of all, you can play it like a giant 3DS. This got me thinking about some of the best stuff from their older hardware that I hope gets ported over. So this week, I'm counting down the top 10 Wii U games we want on Nintendo Switch. Number 10. Bayonetta 2. There aren't many things I've played in my life where I found myself stunned into silence just by the look of a boss, but Bayonetta is certainly an exception. While out shopping with her friends, she gets attacked by evil angels. Not being the kind of person who avoids a fight, Bayonetta springs into action, bouncing off planes, using magic, and generally causing chaos. When a giant demon explodes out of a nearby building though, that's when stuff gets really crazy. This game works so well because despite how insane the levels are, it's easy to keep track of what's happening. Whether you're pulling off 200 hit combos, countering deadly moves, or just laughing at a weird cutscene, Bayonetta is sure to keep you very entertained. Number 9. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Perhaps the main genre that Nintendo has always been the master of is side-scrolling platformers. Their developers know how to craft the absolute best areas that manage to walk the fine line between being fun, difficult, and still a little bit goofy. Tropical Freeze pulls this mix off flawlessly, providing us with hundreds of maps to explore. One moment you can be riding a minecart through an ancient tomb or swinging into a pitch-black forest, only to be suddenly thrown into a bonus stage that has us searching for puzzle pieces. I think this combination of fantastic challenges would be perfect for the Switch because this style of gameplay can be great for 5 minutes or 5 hours. If you're stuck on a train, you could beat a course, or if you're on a lunch break, you'll know that you have Donkey Kong waiting for you. Number 8. NES Remix Pack. If you haven't tried these remix collections yet, they're much cooler than they may appear. These aren't just simple re-releases of the 80s NES classics. Instead, these are reimaginings that take the ideas established in their original versions and then twist it up. You'll be playing through altered castles in Zelda, running through extra tough Mario stages, and trying to set track records in Excitebike. This game is seriously addictive, and I bet it'd be a smart fit for this new console because it would show the retro fans that they still plan on supporting their awesome old school library. This could also open the door to them possibly creating more of these collections in the future. Personally, I'm dying to see an SNES remix that takes some legendary 16-bit experiences and totally revamps them in insane new ways. Number 7. Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water. While this company certainly loves to innovate with their hardware and test bold ideas, what we never see much of from them is horror. Titles like Eternal Darkness on the GameCube and Silent Hill Shattered Memories on the Wii were both terrifying and showed that sometimes Nintendo was willing to support a few devious scares. In 2015, they blew away everyone by releasing Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water, an extremely dark, gritty project that used the Wii U gamepad in some clever ways. By holding up our controller, we could see eerie ghosts wandering around this cursed mountain. Using this, we could strike at these violent spirits, locking their souls in our camera. There were so many parts of this game to enjoy, and yet sadly, it sold very, very poorly. In America, it was digital only, and the file size was so big most people couldn't even fit it on their hard drive, and in the rest of the world, it was sold on a disc but was very limited printing. This deserves a second launch just so that more gamers have a chance to see how stellar it really was. Number 6. Fast Racing Neo. One series that has seemingly vanished off the face of the earth is F-Zero. This franchise has grown to immense popularity for being some of the quickest gameplay ever made. Fast Racing Neo's goal was to follow in these footsteps, making some brutal turns, tossing in a few rocket cars, and mega competitive AI rivals to make it a title that only the most skilled racers can take. If you aren't the type of person who enjoys that sheer amount of pain, you could turn the difficulty way down and just soak in how brilliant these tracks are. Each one is designed to theoretically have a perfect pattern that can be mastered. By experimenting on when to boost, when to brake, and when to just blast through straightaways, you can figure out where every power-up is. The key is not only memorizing where they're at, but practicing smashing your opponents out of the way so that you can grab them every lap. We already have confirmation that Mario Kart 8 is coming to the Switch, and really Neo should be there right along with it to provide a very different kind of multiplayer action. Number 5. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I will fully admit that when I first saw this game, I thought it looked absolutely ridiculous. After all, this is a title that exists in the Mario universe but doesn't have jumping, Goomba crushing, or really any major combat. That's because this is actually a puzzle game, and a pretty neat one at that. Toad is setting out on his own adventure, searching for stars across the Mushroom Kingdom and hopefully finding some trouble in the process. As we dive into the over 70 levels, we must solve complex 3D problems that teach us valuable lessons, only to trick us later on by introducing new elements. Simply beating a stage isn't that hard, but if you want to consider yourself the king of treasure tracking, you'd better be ready to finish the optional bonus objectives hidden in each zone. What surprised me most about this project is that I really started to care for Toad and his little friend Toadette. Watching them cheer when they unlocked a door or crying when a big spooky ghost goes past really made them feel more alive. Soon I found myself wanting to pick it back up just to see what these tiny heroes were going to get into next. Number 4. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. That really is the name. It's so bad, but that really is the name. Something I wish we got more of in recent years is in-depth RPGs. Well, this title looks to fill that need by blending together the stories of Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei for a bizarrely interesting trip. Essentially, nothing about this game really makes sense, but I think that's the point. Chances are, during your playthrough, you'll get trapped watching strange Japanese commercials, only to suddenly be battling a boss or lost in twisting dungeons. The pure thrill of Tokyo Mirage Sessions comes from fighting off increasingly strong monsters while climbing these deadly towers. In between these quests, we're treated to cutscenes that almost feel like we're seeing someone else's dreams because they're literally made out of pure insanity. Look at this guy getting in a dramatic slow-motion duel while wearing a bug suit. What the heck does this even mean? I really like that the developers clearly threw in tons of random concepts and just found whatever path possible to make them work. With its top-notch combat and weird characters, you'll be totally hooked in minutes, and that's why I believe it'll be even better on the Switch, because then we can pick it up and play it on the go. Number 3. Super Smash Bros Wii U. This entire franchise is often regarded as the biggest and best brawler in gaming history. Boasting an enormous 58-player roster, this genre-defining masterpiece manages to bring the mightiest heroes together for some classic fighting. Understanding what makes this so excellent requires a couple hours with a controller in your hands, so you start to notice all the subtle patterns going on at once. Charging up Samus's super shot at just the right moment can mean the difference between a win and a loss, but in that same second there could be Link picking up a giant hammer to try and clear the field of all enemies instantly. You can have Mario and Bowser duking it out as they have 1,000 times before, but then suddenly see Cloud from Final Fantasy VII spring into the arena. You really never know what to expect in the next round. We truly gotta have this style of gameplay come over to Nintendo's latest hybrid system, because the designers are claiming that their device was made from the ground up to be multiplayer focused. With these new small Joy-Cons, I can already imagine being able to sit with friends anywhere and face off in some savagely epic tournaments. Right now there are rumors that a Super Smash Bros. Deluxe could be real, and I'm hoping that that leaked information gets confirmed. Number 2. Xenoblade Chronicles X. As I write this script, we still don't have solid details on how online is going to function with the Switch. From what I can gather, it appears we'll be able to install an app on our cell phones that allow us to connect to Nintendo servers, and for something like Xenoblade Chronicles X, that could be very useful. While this is primarily a huge open-world single-player adventure, it has the added feature that lets us get on the internet and rent out other people's heroes to help us in our journey. With some of the dangerous creatures that exist on this planet, it's probably much safer to keep a few buddies by your side. Our story begins when two warring alien races start trying to kill each other in the space around Earth. Detonating their explosive weapons so close to our home ends up destroying the environment, forcing humanity to get into ships and shoot into the darkness towards a distant star. The character we play as is a soldier who's been tasked with exploring this new world we've discovered and see if maybe we can survive here. Throughout this 60-hour-long tale, we're faced with incredibly tough times, disgusting monsters, and a small chance that if we just struggle hard enough, we might be able to save our species. Number 1. Super Mario Maker. In my opinion, this always has been and always will be the greatest Wii U game. The possibilities in it are basically endless, because instead of just being a normal 2D Mario, this is in fact a toolkit for making your own amazing projects. By using the level builder, we can assemble a maze of flaming torches, a castle with floors that are made of spikes, or something totally nutty like an entire area that can only be crossed if you flawlessly jump off the head of hundreds of enemies. If you don't feel like constructing one one of these courses, then you could just download other fans' maps from the network and play them, testing your skills in the mind-bending gauntlets they've thought up. The creativity of this community is quite staggering. I've seen levels that were designed to play famous songs using sound blocks, lava pits that claimed the lives of millions of gamers, and jumps that seemed simply impossible for everyone but the most talented of people. For its clever building options, a limited amount of missions to die on, and the ability to keep you entertained for months, I'm awarded this as my pick as the Wii U game that needs to be put on the Nintendo Switch. Did your favorite game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming! Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.